This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, maybe I think we have got two people in this right now.
Okay.
So, Venkat and you. So we have one. I mean, expecting one more person. So he's also from UK.
Okay.
And okay, no problem. So let's start because we will just discuss on this topic first, and we will discuss and add or remove the topic.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, right. So, okay. So we will just add. I think you said to add Active Directory part also, right?
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Then okay. Okay. So we will add JDK upgrade also,
Okay.
and for upgrade, this is the one, and availability. So any other? Okay, Atlas and this thing is there, and Ranger is there. Kerberos, ACL.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do we have a KMS or KTS and HDP?
yeah, okay, yeah, that also we will.
Okay.
Enable encryption. Okay, so encryption is there. What else we can add? Okay, just a second. HDP. Okay, so this is the one you're talking, right?
Yeah.
That we will add. Then high availability will already have data governance. Okay.
Yeah, you already have it.
Yeah. This one also we will add. Okay. So do you need this blueprint based installation? We'll add that, right?
Okay. I think it's already there.
Okay, it's nothing like a JSON. With using that JSON file, we will just do the installation.
Okay.
It's completely automated installation. So like
Okay.
if you are using Puppet or Ansible or Chef, so you can build the cluster without any manual intervention, just
Okay.
using couple of script. Okay,
Okay.
I'll show that is also will not take much time. So it's
Okay.
all standard template. So what we need to do is just edit and make some changes and do the installation.
All right. Okay.
And any other topics also we will just add that anything we needed going forward. And but it's a thing installation Nox. Okay, Nox. I think we already have it here, right?
Yeah.
Nox is there. Ranger. Anyway, I will integrate everything, I will use AD here because LDAP we need not to use. So if anything, either AD, free IPA or LDAP, that is fine.
Okay.
I think that's it here. So any other topic, if you feel okay, you can suggest me. So we will add it and do that. Okay.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll share this. So you can maybe this time it won't come to your mind. So you can just relax and think, is there any specific topic you need? We will add that and do.
Okay. Fine.
So what we will do today, I think since others are not there, so I'm expecting two more people. So we will just do a simple installation and
Okay.
by using a couple of nodes in AWS. Okay.
Okay.
Then maybe we will start from the everything from the beginning. Maybe tomorrow, once if they are available.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So first thing you need. Okay, I'm not starting from the beginning and all. Maybe that once everyone is available, so we will start from the basic. Okay, what is Hadoop? What is big data? And how to build, or what are the different distribution, or everything we can start from tomorrow. All those people are available. But
Okay.
right now, I will just show a simple way to do a single node installation. Okay,
Okay.
just a single node HDP
Okay.
on AWS. Okay.
Okay.
The problem here is if you have, you can do it on the local desktop, but the problem, there are some challenges. Like only main thing is you need a very good RAM.
Yeah.
Okay. So if at least 32, because even 16 gig RAM also I was facing a lot of challenges. It's taking a lot of time. Main thing is like, while doing the installation, it will take a lot of time. So by that time you, I mean, you lose your interest.
Okay.
So better way is if you have some higher-end servers or any higher-end laptop, but investing in higher-end laptop is not a good decision, I feel. So the next option is the cloud. So you have a different cloud, AWS or Azure or Google Cloud or any cloud like uh, DigitalOcean. There are a number of options are available. I'm not recommending anyone, but whatever you feel comfortable, you can choose. Also, you can learn little bit of cloud also if you start using this cloud infrastructure. I mean, any one of this cloud.
Okay.
So these are the most common option available in the cloud. So Azure, AWS, or Google Cloud and all. So you can register, and what I feel is Azure will give you some free credit around $600. So that will be somewhat okay for you to do the testing. Even AWS also will give that. So all these things require you to have a credit card. So with have I'm not sure like nowadays they support debit card also. So main thing is the cloud, the charge is monthly. They will give you the bill, and also once they charge the bill directly, they will credit from your credit card, and you don't have much control on that. So once you have used, and at the end of the month, they will charge. So main thing is you need to be very careful while using this. In the sense, like financially, otherwise financially, it will be a very burden. So only thing is, if you are using, just keep it, otherwise turn it off. Okay, so from my personal experience, I had I mean, I was getting some free credit for Redshift, one of the distributed database in AWS. I was using it. So the plan was like the first one or 2 months it was free, then after that they started charging. So I thought, okay, I forgot to terminate that. Then the third month or fourth month, I got a very big bill. Then I sent multiple emails to them. Then only they gave that money back. But it won't be the case normally. But not every case you will get the money back.
Okay. Okay.
So only thing is, if you are using, keep it, okay, because it's always it won't be much, because for my case I was having bill around less than 100 or $150. I was using very heavily for the training and my own testing purpose. So only thing is it's all hourly based. Okay, AWS is mostly hourly basis. So one trick is use it exactly hours. Like say for example, if you use 1 hour, 1 minute, the charge is for 2 hours. So either use only 1 hour or 2 hour or 3 hours like that. So on
Okay.
1 hour it won't be much. I'm saying like a very few cent, but still that is a trick. And also if you're not using that, maybe for practice and all, we will use 1 or 2 or maximum 3 hours. So by that time you may get some call and we will go out and but you forgot. But don't do that. So if you're not using, just power off. No need to clean or terminate, just power off the instances. Then they won't charge much because there will be a very minimal charge. So my
Okay.
billing didn't go more than 150 or $200 per month, even though I was using very heavily. But what I was doing is, once I did my testing, so I just shut it down the next day. But Azure also every cloud, because the charge is based on the usage. So use it like that. Then it's very effective and good because it's internet is very fast here. So locally, if you are doing and downloading something from internet, doing anything, so it will be slow, and it's very easy for you to do the testing. Okay,
Okay.
so try to explore this. Also, it's always better to know any one of the cloud in detail, because coming forward, everyone everywhere will be migrating to the cloud, except very few which are very high sensitive, or especially banking or insurance. They are not moving to their production data to cloud. But other than that, the most of the people are moving to the cloud. So let's learn cloud also a little bit and do that. The second option is buy some very good laptop. So some people are interested in gaming. So they will have a very high-end laptop, at least 32 gig, but I think the cost will be very high. So in India, it will be 1 lakh plus, or 1 to 1.5 lakhs uh, for that. But it's a huge investment. I don't know, maybe in the US and all, or I don't know about the UK and other region. So you will get refurbished or used laptops or servers, even for the servers also. But the problem with the server is power, managing noise and all. So the used servers you will get a very cheaper rate. I think in India also we will have that option.
Okay.
Okay, so but the main problem is like some people will okay, 16, even 16 gig RAM, it's very difficult because mine is 16 gig laptop, but I was facing a lot of challenges because it's taking, because we cannot test it properly, and also we feel very irritated. So I normally use cloud. Okay, so for cloud, you can go to the aws.amazon.com if you are using Amazon. Okay. Uh, in my case, I have registered long back. Uh, 1 second, give me a second.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Actually, this is my AWS account. Okay, so you can go to this aws.amazon.com and register. And if you registered, so you can sign in. And so in my case, this is my ID and password, whatever the password you set. So you can choose that password and sign in. So I have enabled a multi-factor authentication, which is nothing but an extra protection. So then I use Google Authenticator and use this option. So it's nothing like an RSA pin, and I should be able to log in. Okay, and this is nothing but like a cloud platform. So where you have lot of options available. Okay, and if you just hit on the services on the top, so you can see whatever the services available. So for compute, for robotic, this one, for analytics, this one. So everything, it has hundreds of components available, and so we are not going to use anyone except this EC2. So EC2 is nothing like a virtual machine which is available in cloud. Okay. But to use the EC2 instance, you should know what is a VPC or what is a VNet, then how this authentication works, I mean, the key-based authentication, etc. Okay, the simple thing, like just to hit that EC2, it's very simple and easy. Okay, and you can see what are the in this page. You can see what are the running instances. So if you have any VM started, it will show here, and also the storage volume, then key pair and all, it's not chargeable, and security group also not chargeable. But the any VM running, you should stop, and even after terminating the VM, if any volume it's listing, you can delete that volume. So what I am going to do here is just launch an instance. There are multiple ways to launch a VM in AWS. So one is from this graphical portal. Second is you can use some shell or Python code to deploy the VM. You can use Ansible to deploy, Puppet to deploy, Chef. These all having plugins or modules to do the deployment remotely using some PowerShell or Python or its own code. But the one we are using is the basic thing, which we are using the portal and graphically deploying. But in a real enterprise level, it's a deployment all happening using the some backend coding mechanism. Okay, so here you can just click launch. So I'm going to launch a virtual machine or any we can say VM, and here you can see and before that, okay, once you log in, you can choose a data center which is closer to your area. Okay, so these are the different data center location, and for US people, so multiple regions are there. For Asia Pacific, we have got a different region, and similarly Europe also, and South America. So these are the different region, and based on the region, the pricing will be slightly different. Also, the performance and availability all depends. So I chose the Singapore location because which was closer to me at that time. But recently, there's recently in the sense I think 1 or 2 years back they started operating from Mumbai also. So I chose this location, then I kept it because most of the time I develop VM and other resources on this data center. So you can choose this from the top on which location you want to deploy or you want to choose. So once that is done, and again for virtual machine, the AMI means it's just a template. So what you will get in AWS is everything installed in a machine. Okay, so that is called a VM, and it's a very fast and straightforward. You need not to install the virtual machine separately. So my AMI, if I have any custom AMI means Amazon machine image, which is nothing but similar to a CD image or anything. So that will be deploying this image to whatever the VM we choose. And my AMI means if I have any custom, you can customize this Amazon image using some scripts and some tools, and marketplace image. So this is also having n number of machines available, and we have community AMI. So community AMI may be from different vendors or from the community team. So you can choose any VM here, like you can choose the CentOS or RHL7. You can choose like a CentOS 7. I think I can see. Uh, I don't know which one is the better one, because it's all different option, but the problem is the way it works, the partition size, uh, and all different. Okay, so normally what I do, I choose something, okay, some bare minimal thing, because any simple CentOS image, so it looks like it doesn't have any other extra name. That means it's a plain image. So what you can choose is, you can choose any one of the image and see how this behaves. Okay, what is the partition? Is that okay? Some VM image is having with the LVM, some doesn't have LVM. So if LVM is there, we can easily uh, expand. Okay, so what I have done here is, I've choose one AMI ID. So this is the one I used some time back, and I felt okay, this is very comfortable because it's having a proper disk size and proper partition, everything. I felt okay, comfortable. But that is not my own ID, so that is from the community AMI. Again, it doesn't it may not be necessary that the same AMI exists here, because I chose this some time back, but still it's there. But if you choose some other location and search for this AMI ID, it doesn't exist, because this is the image, okay, which is available on Singapore location. And I couldn't find any easy shortcut to check this, okay, which AMI is better, other than just deploying and testing. Okay, so some AMI which I choose, I couldn't find out the username or password they use for login, or even with the key it was not working. But this was the one with without any complaint I haven't seen. Okay, so I'm just selecting the image. It's nothing but just like choosing the operating system. So we can have a CentOS 7, or if you choose the CentOS or RHL, both are same except the license and support. But for us, CentOS is 7. CentOS is enough. You can choose either 6 or 7. But if you are using 6, you have to choose the software based on that. And if you are using 7, you can choose the whatever the software based on that. Then choose that. The next option is the disk. How this VM should looks like. So we have a very minimal with half gig to one CPU to very huge VMs. Okay. So what I'm choosing is, at least I'm using in a single node. So I'm just using T2X large, which is 8 core CPU and 32 gig RAM inside that. And the disk I need to choose later how much disk I need. And if you just choose the 16 gig, I think that will also work here, but maybe sometime because of memory you may face some challenges. So I'm choosing 32 gig RAM. Then instance detail. So here you have an option to select number of instances. If you need 10 VMs at a time, you can deploy by writing the 10 here, but it's all up to you. But since in my case I'm just deploying one VM, so I can choose the number 1 here. And it's like a VPC and subnet. Okay, so VPC is I'll tell what is VPC is similar to subnet, I mean VNet. Okay, so here if you choose here, like see, say for example, this is the VPC, virtual private cloud. See, it's nothing but just a network isolation. So you can have multiple VPCs created, but in for our cluster deployment, we should have everything inside the same VPC. Okay, so VPC, just understand, it's just a network isolation similar to VNet. Okay, and VPC, you can create a new VPC also, but if you have already existing some VPC, you can choose that. And the next is under VPC, there is a concept called subnet. Okay, so maybe this VPC have some IP range 10 something to 10 something, but in inside that we will have a multiple subnet, and each subnet also will have an IP range. Okay, so this IP to this IP can only be assigned to uh, whatever the VMs which is available under this subnet. This subnet is having another IP range. Similarly, we will have multiple subnet. So what we need is one VPC we need. Under that, one subnet. Okay, and under that we are creating the VMs. So why we are using this VPC subnet and all? It's Amazon has its own security and a firewall that we can apply here into the VNet, and also there are a lot of options available in backend. Actually, if we are going for a production level deployment, but here we just understand. So we need to have a single VPC, under that a subnet. So we are deploying all our VMs under the same subnet. So what I'm saying here is, see, I choose the network. Network is nothing but a VPC. So if you can create a new VPC, if it doesn't exist, maybe the first time it may not be there. So you can use the option like the default one. And the subnet is nothing but under that uh, network. So we will have a subnet where we have an IP range. And you can see the details here also. Let me open another, I think, web dot, sorry. Okay, so these are the VP, I think subnet available. So this is the VPC. If you just go to the VPC, for each VPC has got some CIDR IP. So that means whatever the machines available in this VPC can assign only this IP. So CIDR, it's like a network, what we call in classless internal. Like we have earlier we have the concept of classes, class A, class B, like that. But so if you choose this one, this means from this IP to that IP, there will be a range of IP which can, you can just use a CIDR range and see. But here you need not to worry much about this one. The only thing is I just want to show you, okay, these are the things available in AWS, and what is the DHCP, what is the main route, and all those things. Okay, so this is the VPC. You can create a new VPC. What you have to do is just to use the CIDR name, what range of IP you need. So IPv6, you can say no, and the tenancy, dedicated or default, just use the default and create if it's not already there. Okay, so that is a VPC, and subnet is not something like under VPC. We have subnet. So okay, so under VPC, you have a action like delete VPC, edit VPC. Just you can create a subnet also under that. I don't know why this is not showing. And for subnet, also we will have the option like which IP range and all we need to have. And auto assign public IP. This is something like you will have an public IP. So public IP is nothing but internet, the IP which you can access through internet. So, but again, this is a chargeable option. Public IP is chargeable. So you can have the, I mean, the public IP only for one, and the remaining you just have the private IP. It's all up to you. But again, it's not very much chargeable if you are using the use the subnet setting. In subnet we have setting how to get the public IP and all. Okay, and the remaining things you can choose as default. And then the next is storage. How much disk volume you need? I'm just choosing 50 gig, but actually if you need more you can choose that. And type of the disk, so we have SSD and magnetic like in our laptop and all. So we have a solid state device and a magnetic will be cheaper but not faster. So I'm choosing SSD. And delete on termination means if you delete this VM, the disk also will get deleted. Encryption, you can have it or leave it. In our case, I'm not using encryption. So tag, nothing but just a name. Okay, so you can just so this is needed when you are working in an enterprise. Otherwise, just no need to know. So Hadoop HDP, because with the tag you should be able to understand, okay, who is using, what is the purpose of this one, okay, and all which charging code it's all those things. You can have multiple tags, but I'm just using owner tag, just writing my name, that's it. And security group is nothing but a firewall at the AWS side. Okay, so you can choose from which machine to which, because this is very important. So if you use a completely open or wide open firewall settings, so there may be chances like attack from internet. Okay, so in enterprise level it's all completely restricted, because they will not open this to internet. So they choose only for internal communication open, and other thing restricted. But in our case, you can create a new one. So you can see select an existing means lot of security group which we created. So we can create new also. So whatever the name you can just use. So HTTP training uh, security group, and in the description also you can write that. And here, so what are the ports you need to open? So what is the type? All traffic. And port range, source is anywhere. I'm just adding the rule. Okay, so this means all traffic. So you can have SMTP or whatever it may, but I'm just using all traffic anywhere. So the complete access, I'm just see, but this is a security warning, but still we can have it. But in our case, we are just doing it in a testing environment. So my IP, if I just add this one, so it will let to me to connect from my machine, which is nothing but my public IP will be uh, added here. So no one else will be able to connect these VMs. So I'm just removing that. So I give the complete open access. We can say this is kind of wide open access. Then review and launch. So this is the final page where you can review what are the configurations you have choose and all. Just launch. Here it's asking for us to do a key pair. Okay, and key pair is nothing but for the Linux VMs. So you might have heard the public private key pair. Okay, I'll explain this later in detail. So it's something like a padlock and okay, so some padlock and key. So this is a lock, and this is the key. See, the public key is similar to this lock, and the private key is similar to uh, this key. Okay, so in Linux, what you can have is, so you can have a file called authorized. Actually, the public and private key are just a pair, because for each public key there will be a private key. I mean, like, so there is a matching here, right? See, we can have a one lock and multiple keys. So we can have the copy of these multiple keys also. Okay. So the public key, what we will do, the public key we will kept inside. Okay, so they say, for example, this is a Linux VM, and under .ssh there will be a directory .ssh. So we will move the public key with the name authorized underscore keys here. And if you have the private key with you, you should be able to log into this one without typing the password. But you are using this private key. So this is the private key, and here your public key is with the name authorized key. So that lets you to log into the Linux machine without typing the password, but just you need a username. Okay, that is a key based authentication, and the key based authentication is much more secure than the password based authentication. So normally you have the password based authentication, you just whenever you just use some SSH tool or something, and use SSH or putty or any tool you use, and then it prompts you to type the username and password. You type the username and password. So even if it's a secured password, it will be somewhat a large string, but it's easy to hack, especially if some hacking, since this is exposed to internet. So there is much chance like if you enable the password based authentication. So normally in AWS machines or any most of the cloud machine, so the password based authentication might be disabled. So they all recommend the key based authentication. So key based, the key is very huge in size. So there is very less chance like it's getting attacked. So that is the option. So you can just use a create a new pair. I can just use HDP admin key, whatever it may be. Okay, and download this key. So this will download this file. So it's already downloaded somewhere. Okay, so just ignore this. So in my case, it's immediately downloading. It's trying to open. So HTTP underscore admin underscore key.pm. This is the file. I'm just going to launch the instance. So okay, view instances. You can add some name here. Okay, so this is running, initializing. It will take some time to get initialized, and you can see whatever the details of this VM here. See what is the public DNS or public IP. So this is the IP which allows you to connect via internet, and this is the internal DNS and IP. So internal DNS and IP is based on the VPC or subnet that we have chosen. Okay, these are all the details are listed here, and what AMI is using, and what are the other details and all. So it will take a few seconds to initialize this, and we will have everything ready. But another thing is, so if you just log in with any user, so the password based authentication mostly won't work here, and you need this key pair. So actually when we created this key while deploying, so in AWS side there will be a key created, public key, and the private key we just downloaded. So we go to the download link somewhere. Where is the download? Yeah, this is the key, right? This key, let me copy this key and keep it under here, private underscore keys. We'll keep it here, and this key you can see in PEM format. Okay, PEM format you can use while you are connecting from Mac or Linux machines, but if you are connecting from Windows, putty doesn't support PEM format. So there you need to have converted this into PPK. PPK stands for putty private key. Okay, so PPK, PEM, actually this is the private key, and you need to convert that to PPK. PPK just is the name putty private key. This is a putty version of this, because the putty doesn't support this PM directly, but Mac or Linux will support. So in Mac and all, if you are using, just use SSH -i then whatever the pem file, okay, this one dot pem, then you can use username, okay, maybe root at whatever the IP address. So from Mac or Linux machine you can use that, but in our Windows case, so we need to convert this into PPK. For converting that, you just need to download a software called Puttigen. So you can download from the link itself, but this is just a executable. So I already have downloaded that software here, and I can open that. And here what you have to do is, so this is just a tool used for converting the key, okay, PEM to PPK format. Just use the file load private key, and just to go to the desktop, and where is the private keys, and choose all files, then only it will list here. And otherwise if it default it's PPK, but it won't show that. Choose all files, then use that PEM file, just open. Okay, so successfully loaded. What you have to do is next save the private key. So are you want to save this without passphrase? Yes, I'm okay, I don't want the passphrase. Write the name like what do you call HDP admin key. Okay, so but this time this will be in the PPK format. So if I go back here, I have got PPK file also. And next thing we can use putty. Putty, I think you all have, I mean, might be knowing well. And here, what you need is go to this instances, hit that instance, and get the public IP address or public DNS. Just use that, use it here, and go to the SSH auth. Okay, so from here, what you have to do is under the connection, expand SSH auth. Here you can see the private key for authentication, or you choose that. Then go to the place where you have your file. So private keys, so HTTP admin PPK, right? Open that, then come back to the session, and here you can, if you want to do it for future use, just save it here. Okay, the HTTP underscore single. But if you restart and use it later, your IP, public IP will definitely change, but the private IP won't change. Okay, so this is the first time we are connecting, and this is trying to add this SSH key in our Windows. Choose yes, and I think this is username is root here. Even without typing the password, it's a, oh sorry, it's saying okay, not the root user. Use the CentOS. What I can do is okay, it's closed. Let me get the putty again. This is the HTTP single. Choose that. Choose CentOS. Right. So mostly, if you have that user, this user will be with the sudo su access. Sudo su means it lets you to switch to root user without any issue or without any password. So we got the root user here. And once you have completed your testing and all, you can just use either power off command from here, or here you have an option. Okay, choose the which VM you want, go to the action, then instance state, stop. Stop will shut down, so reboot, and terminate. Terminate is nothing but deleting the entire instances. So any questions here? Because I just moved a bit fast here.
No, we are fine.
Okay. Okay, I think you will get a clarity when you try it yourself, and maybe a lot of challenges you feel initially, and once you solve that, then you should be able to know. And also, I think if initially you may not have permission to create larger instance and all, I think you need to check with the AWS support team also that in that case. So I think sometime it will work. So earlier it has some issues like that, but I don't think now I mean resolved all those things. So what we did is here just deployed a VM, and also if you just check here, I think, oops, I enter here. And another thing is if you power off, uh, yeah, if you power off and use, even if you are using 1 hour, so you will get a bill for 2 hours usage. So do the restart and power off less frequently. So in my case, this is stopped. So I can start, if this is in the stop state, I can come here and I don't know where is this VM. Okay, next thing, so we will see some of the prerequisites that we need to do on the VM before doing the actual Hadoop software installation. Okay, let me start this instance first. Prerequisites, and I will explain in detail. So what is the use of this and how this works. And here we will just quickly go through this one. So some of the prerequisites, okay, this is something like I'm just changing to text-based mode rather than graphical mode. But I think in our case, so we are AWS instance mostly use text-based mode only. So locally install, you can use this multi-user mode. 1 second, I think this is just initializing. So we need to. So we will take this 5 minutes break. I'll have some water and come back. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, okay, right. We will continue. And just let me connect it. Maybe if it's not connecting, this public IP might have changed. See, this is the public IP because if you have not opted for the static option, so it will change. But that is okay for us because for us it's fine because all the Hadoop configuration and all we are just using the private IP only. The public IP just for connecting outside. So that is fine for us. But the static one is a bit more chargeable. So dynamic is fine. Dynamic in the sense, if you just go and open or start this instance, you will have a different public IP address. So what I was talking here is the some prerequisites we need to do before installing Hadoop. So one is okay, this is fine. We can ignore this and setting the proper host name. So this and all we need not to do here because we have got a proper host name here. We are just using AWS host name itself. Okay, so this is the host name and that is fine. And also etc host or DNS we need not to update here. The reason is AWS is having its own DNS. But if you are using the local or VMware based or any server based in-house, you have to change. But again, in an enterprise level, so you need not to touch this because there will be other people to do this task because the Linux and the build team will be doing. And the next is firewall disabling. And the firewall, the problem here is, so our cluster components are completely depends on a lot of ports and the communication is happening between the servers. Maybe we have a 10 or 20 or 100 servers. So this all communication will happen in between and we have to open certain ports. Not all the ports, maybe the Cloudera manager or Ambari is using some port, HTTP using another port, whatever the components we have available. So we have to identify those ports and we'll have to inform the firewall team. Okay, so this is the port we need to open. So in larger enterprise, there will be separate firewall team who is managing this firewall. And otherwise, like if you are doing in a local base, so you can just disable or stop the firewall itself. But this is not a recommended option. Better way or the best way is to open the firewall port, whatever the port we needed, and the remaining keep as it is. But this is just a shortcut. Disable means entire firewall service will be disabled. But here, for this instance, I don't even have a firewall installed. Okay, so the firewall is not here, so that is fine. The next is VM swappiness. So VM swappiness is nothing but a feature available in operating system that will tell when to use this virtual memory. Okay, so when virtual memory needs to be used, and again this will be also a bit confusing one. So VM's happiness, so normally we have got physical memory. Okay, so this is physical and we will have a virtual memory. So virtual memory is nothing but a portion of hard disk, okay, which is used for supporting the physical memory. So the reason why we are using virtual memory, the actual memory was costlier earlier, and nowadays it's a bit cheaper. But the problem is when our memory usage increases, and again some of the application we are loading. So what it will do, the less frequently accessed item, it will move into the portion of hard disk. So, and this is called paging. And if you are, I mean, the study operating system, maybe during engineering or any other study. So there is a book itself for operating system. So how operating system works, even if it's a Windows or Linux or anything. So the concept wise, like so when the memory usage goes a certain level, then it will move those pages. So the unit is called page to hard disk. I mean, basically that portion will be written into the hard disk. So that portion we call virtual memory. So here, if you just use the top command, you can see the physical and virtual memory. Okay, see, this is the swap and this is the memory. So this is the physical memory and this is the virtual memory. Okay, and this is not responding. I don't know. Okay, memory usage is also very less. Okay, so we have got a physical and virtual memory, and the thing is, so whenever the memory usage, physical memory usage reaches certain threshold, then it start using swap. Okay, so VM swappiness is used to control that limit. Okay, so we can say when 50% is achieved, then start using swap, or 100% is achieved, then only start using swap. So the problem with the virtual memory is, as I said, this is a portion of hard disk. So virtual memory, whenever it's used, start using the virtual memory, the performance will be slower or it won't be good. In that case, see, for Hadoop, it's mainly intended for the performance. So what we need is don't use the virtual memory as much as possible. And the last and worst case, use the virtual memory. So for that purpose, we are setting the VM swappiness. So VM swappiness, if you set to 10, okay. So this is something like if there is 100, okay. So VM swappiness 10 means when this available thing become 10, that means 90 percentage of the memory is used, then start using virtual memory. So that is the VM swappiness. So earlier, I think VM swappiness was 0. I mean, initial days, the Cloudera and Hortonworks recommended to use 0, but then a lot of problems started appearing. Then they changed, okay, recommended to change it back to 10. But actual operating system, I think it's a 40 or something. That means when the memory usage reaches to 60%, it will start using virtual memory. But 90, what 10 means till 90% it can use physical memory and then only start using virtual memory. Okay, so that is the one VM swappiness. VM swappiness we can just set by editing etc sysctl.conf and add this parameter. Just use vi, then add this content. Okay, vm.swappiness equal to 10, but this require a reboot. And what is next is we need to disable SC Linux. So that you can do by opening this file. Uh, one second. One second, I'm getting one call. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, can we stop here now because I have to go out because I have to pick my kid. So is it
Okay.
okay? Are you okay to wait 10 minutes or we'll continue tomorrow?
It's up to you.
I think you have to, you have any Morning. I think for you, you said you have to go to the church. I don't know what is the time there
I
now.
said 10 a.m. I have 4 more hours. No problem.
Okay. Okay. Just I'll try to reach within 10-15 minutes maximum. So I'll
Okay.
just come back. Yeah. And
Okay.
Yeah,
then
okay.
keeping the meeting.
No
That's
problem.
fine.
I
I'll
can.
take a break. How about you? Ready?
Yeah, I can wait, Hilda.
That's fine. Then we'll take a break. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. Okay.
Don't worry, don't worry. Just check if Reddy is back or not.
Sorry.
There is one more guy, right? Reddy, yeah.
Ha. 1 second. Let me just check. Okay. I think he's not. I tried to call him, but he's not responding.
Okay, okay.
Just a second. Okay. And so this thing next is LC Linux disabling. Okay. LC Linux is just like security enhance option. So for that, what you have to
Hi,
do is
Sandesh. I have joined.
Okay, mate.
okay. Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Okay. So what we will do? Okay. Let me open this file linux config,
Yeah.
and by default it's in enforcing mode, so that has to be changed to disable. Okay. So change it to disable. And what is next? Then we need an NTP package, because this package is needed to synchronize the time, and this is one of the mandatory prerequisite for Hadoop installation. And also this service should be up and running. The main
Okay.
intention is to keep the time in synchronized way. And also if you are doing a Kerberos, if anything with the NTP or the time, there is a minimum time gap that it can afford. So if the time gap is there much, then definitely the Kerberos and all fail. So that is the reason this is very important. So NTP service should be there by default. I think there will be a central time server and available, and it's a synced in and at enterprise level. But here I'm just starting and enabling that service. So enable means systemctl is a command similar to the service in RHEL6. So that is used for starting the service. Enable means the next reboot onwards, the service will be up and running. I can just check the status here, and this is showing active and running. Okay.
Okay.
So NTP part is done. Then another thing this one THP, transparent huge page. So transparent huge page is a memory improvement or the performance improvement option available on RHL 5 onwards. But instead of using the small pages, it's using the huge or large sized pages. And we can do disable by adding this option into etc rc.local. Basically, you just need to type echo never to this file.
Okay.
Okay. I'll show you in detail. Okay, what is this THP and all? Right now, just see how. I mean, for a single installation, we will just execute this option, and the way THP is disabling is slightly different in RHL 5 and 6. I just add it in etc rc.local so that whenever the next reboot onwards, so these two lines will be executed along with this. Okay, etc rc.local is just a startup script in Linux. I think that's it about the prerequisites. So next, we will see how to install Ambari server. Okay, we will go to the Hortonworks docs.hortonworks.com.
Srijesh, will it cover in future, like what is the use of THP and everything?
Yes, yes, I will explain
Disabling
that in
THP.
yeah later.
Yeah, actually, right now I'm working in the Hadoop Smart Sense views,
Hmm.
so I'm seeing these alerts: THP and swappiness disable and something like that. So that's why I want to know what is THP, why we are disabling that one.
Okay. So very simple. I'll tell you at very peripheral level. So
Yes, yes.
as I said, the pages, right? So I explained when we were discussing about memory paging. So we have physical memory and virtual memory. So virtual memory
Yeah.
is we will call it swap. So
Okay.
whenever the physical memory usage reaches certain threshold, that is controlled by VM happiness. So
Okay. Yeah,
the
yeah. That
recommended
understood.
VM happiness is 10. So that
Yes, yes.
means, so whenever 90% of this memory is full, then it start
Mhm.
using swap
Okay.
or virtual memory or whatever it you call. Sometimes people call swap or sometimes it's a virtual memory.
Sure.
Okay. So it's a, if you see swap and virtual memory, both are same. So the paging is the process of moving the piece to here. Actually,
Huh.
this is controlled by processor, and there is it's like a complicated process if you look into deeper, but very high level. So this is something like we are moving a piece of memory portion into hard disk.
Okay.
So, and there are again, it's a very confusing and a lot of registry pages and all those terminologies are there. But just understand.
Okay.
So, moving some piece, it's not nothing like the portion of data that is there in the piece, and this is moving. Normally, there is a standard size. I don't remember exactly the size for this, but so till RHL5, so normal standard size only it was using, but
Oh.
the problem is if you increase the size of this volume, I mean the paging size, paging uh, size, so you can easily move the data to the hard disk. So it's all depends on I think the transfer speed and all those. We will get some benefit
Yeah.
definitely if we increase the like in HDFS we are increasing the uh, block size, right? So the
Yes, yes.
transfer, considering the transfer speed and write speed and all. So this is the sum of the performance improvement that has improved. I mean, to use uh, transparent huge page. So transparent
Okay.
huge page is like the page which is huge in size. Just to understand that. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
the huge
Got it.
sized pages. So that is, I mean, developed as part of performance improvement in with RHL.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Hadoop is saying like if you use the THP for Hadoop, so definitely you won't get a performance improvement. Your performance will go down. So it doesn't means like if you enable THP, your cluster work, but definitely it affect the performance sometimes. So and also the recommendation from the vendor like Cloudera or Hortonworks is disable that feature. And
Okay.
also
Okay.
The swapping also, they recommend use the physical memory. I think using the physical memory as much as possible, you can visualize logically, right? Because
Yeah.
this is much faster. So utilize this as much as possible. And the worst case, if no other option, then only start using swap. That is what we are doing with the VM swappiness. So THP
Okay.
is the transferring the file in huge or from the memory to physical memory to virtual memory or swap in a huge size chunk of pieces, but that we need to reduce or use the default I mean the size in order to
Okay.
get a
Okay.
better performance. This is all performance improvement thing, but even if you skip some of this, it will your cluster will work. But if you look into the performance point of view, definitely you need to sort it out.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the NTP is some of the mandatory one, because if NTP is not there, some of the components fail, especially if you use Kerberos, because the Kerberos ticket and ticket granting ticket is based on the timestamp, and there will be a time they use the time, so the time should be in sync. Again, there will be a very few seconds or millisecond it can accept, but other than that, very huge delay, it doesn't. So,
Okay.
and the firewall and all, like I said, firewall disabling, we can do in a local kind of environment, but in real enterprise level, so need to check what kind of firewall they are using, and sometimes they have a centralized Cisco's other, I mean the centralized firewall solution they have. So in that case, you can say, okay, from this host to this much host, these are the ports you need to open. But if you tell like, okay, all the port to open, they won't do that, because they have some certain security policies and all, and you have to justify these are the ports I need for this Hadoop installation. So I need this port to be open. So the
Yeah.
port,
Got
in
it,
the
sir.
sense,
Yes. Thanks.
most of the components are working in a networking fashion, and you need that port to be open. I will explain this in detail. Okay, so what is in inside this, why we need this prerequisite, but just to understand some of the prerequisites we need, and this is just a simple installation. We will do that and explain in detail. Okay, so let me go to the Ambari. Then we have installation here. Then go to this one. And here, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
I mean, seeing some network related warnings in GoToMeeting. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. So here, uh, you need operating systems pack, utility to do the installation of Ambari. So we will quickly do the installation of Ambari and see. See, we have OS repo. Okay. So since we are using RCL7 or CentOS, RHL or CentOS 7, so you can use a yum repository or yum tool to do the installation. If you are apt to get in case of Ubuntu, similarly, there are multiple operating systems that this Ambari support. So we used RHL 7, and most of the enterprise using RHL, and very few are using Ubuntu. Okay. So the installation we are using with the help of OS package utility, and it's not like a tarball based. Just do the installation using this utility. So two options here. One is local repo, and second is internet based. So local repo means you will download the tarball and create your own repository. So internet-based repository means you are just directly pointing that repo file, and which is pointing to an internet or Hortonworks on a repo website. So I recommend this one because if you go into some of your enterprise, so they don't have a direct internet download access. So wherever you have direct internet access, you can use this repo. I'll show how these both work, and I will show in these two things in detail. But here we will go to the setting up a local repository, and no internet access. Sorry, we will choose this option. Yeah, this is the option we need. Just hit that. So we have an option to Ambari repository and HTTP repository. Let me just get this, go to this link. Here you can see on the left hand side the various operating system and what is the format and the actual URL. So we are looking only here because the first level operating system is our CentOS or RHEL7. So the base URL, this is the internet based repository of Hortonworks where they deployed all the packages, and this is just a repo file. If you use this, you should be able to do this. Let's try to download this file. Let me, so I need a utility called wget, so which is nothing but a command that you can use for downloading something from internet. Use wget and use this repository. So this repo, okay, so this is the one I have selected from here. Actually this is needed if you are going with a internet based installation for repo. So here let me open this. See, so this is the section, and name is some name. So base URL from in internet, which is the location. Actually this is same as this one. Okay, and GPG key, that is nothing but like an option to check the package integrity check. Okay, so GPG means there is a file, and it's like a what we called check whether whatever the packages we are downloading from this repo is correct and all. It's all based on this key, and you can just disable a GPG check if you don't want, and enable and priority. So this is all based on your package management, because the priority one means if any other repo same for Ambari available, but this will have the higher priority. So enable one is a default. Okay, so but if you just copy this file to, what you have to do is download this file, copy ambari.repo to /etc m.repos.d. So this is the directory where in your operating system all repo files are located. Okay, so the for operating system you can see a lot of repository. For Ambari, this is the one. If I just use yum install ambari-server, see, it's you are able to do that. But here, so from this repository, I'm not installing using this one, so let me remove that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to create my own local repository, so rather than using internet. So internet repository means just download this file and keep it inside the /etc m.repos.d directory. Okay, so ambari.repo. And another option is a zip file which you can download your local system and create your own local repository. So what I'm using is wget and downloading here.
Sujesh, are you sharing all these recording sessions?
Yes. I
Okay,
will
thank you.
upload somewhere and will share the link.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, while this is getting downloaded, we will try to create the repository. So for creating the repository, you need to host this file somewhere. I'm just using my installing HTTPD. So HTTP package will be installed, and systemctl enable HTTPD. So the HTTPD is a okay, and then start. Okay, so this will start this HTTPD, and once this is started, we can just check the status. So this is active and running. So now we have downloaded this one. So this file I need to unzip and keep it in /var www html. Okay. So under this directory, nothing is there. And if you want to check your repository is configured properly, you can use this one and http // So you should get a page if it's accessing through public IP. I think test page powered by this is coming, and so this test page is coming means your HTTP service is up and running. But here I use my public IP address. But if you are using locally, so you need to use that local IP address. So next thing what I'm going to do here is just unzipping this to that directory tar zxvf this one -c /var www html. So what I need is basically unzip this and keep the file under /var www html, and we'll go to that directory var www html, and see, you can see Ambari is here. So come back to here and just use /Ambari. You can see this one. Just to go inside, then go inside. So I think this is due to some bug. Okay, because I just need to check how to sort it out. With the latest Ambari version, I'm seeing this kind of issue. Okay, no problem. But this our repository is working fine, and so what we need to do. So we need a path Ambari, then go to CentOS 7. So keep on go inside until you see a directory repo data. Okay, so that is just a shortcut. To tell you okay how to collect this repo location. So you keep on go inside the directory and until you see a repo data, and take that path /var www html. You need not don't need this thing because that is the default HTTP root directory, and take this thing. Okay, and just take a notepad, and what you have to do is http :/ what is the name of this host name, this one. Okay, take that host name and use. So this is the repository location, and just copy this. Now go to etc m.repos.d directory and create a uh, file called Ambari repo. Vim is not there, that is fine. Just use a vi. Then I'm just using this repo name. Can use some any name, Ambari -repo. Just ending the square bracket. Name. What is the name? Ambari 2.7. Then base URL. That is the location where you have your packages available. Okay, and GPG check you can enable or disable. I am disabling. So if you disable it, No need to pass that GPG key. Okay, I'm sure that whatever the packages which I downloaded is perfect, and I'm just disabling GPG check. But if you enable GPG check, you need to check what is the GPG file location. Go to var. I think let me close this. CentOS var www HTML Ambari, and somewhere you can see that GPG key files. Don't know, sometimes it's a network is bit slow. Okay, but here I'm just disabling the GPG key and saving this, right? So now let me just see yum clean all, just cleaning all the repository. I mean the old cache. So yum install Ambari hyphen. If I just use this one, it will try to check all the repository and wherever Ambari repo, I mean Ambari server is available. So this is downloading from this repository, which is nothing but the repo we just created. So you can use yes or no if you want to continue or not. Just use yes to continue. Okay, just enter. So this is downloading Ambari server and some of the dependent package. Here you can see it's it need Postgres and all. So that is the reason this is downloading Postgres, because by default Ambari is using Postgres. And the next is, so Ambari is a tool which is used for managing HTTP cluster, and Ambari as a server and agent component. So agent will be running across all the hosts and server will be running on one of the hosts. And there will be a communication between an agent and server. There are multiple ways to do the agent. So one option is let Ambari server to do the agent installation from the Ambari console by using by logging into the Ambari. But one thing you need here is you need a passwordless SSH between the host. Second option is you can install Ambari server, then install agent separately manually and to configure that agent. Then you need not to configure this passwordless SSH and all. So I'm just using Ambari agent installation manually. Okay, yes. So if you have multiple node, so you need to do the agent installation on all the hosts manually. Okay, or else if you have a passwordless, or I mean you can create a user, give the passwordless sudo access, and you can manually you can get the private key for that and use from the Ambari. Okay, but this time I did manually. What you have to do is for etc Ambari agent, then conf agent.ini, Ambari agent.ini. So this file you have to choose. Okay, what is the Ambari host server name? So use the server name where you install. Sorry, I think that is not the name. So let me. This is my server name. So you have to edit this file on all the hosts if you are manually doing the agent installation. Otherwise, Ambari server will do this job for you, but you have to pass the key files. Then what I am doing is systemctl enable Ambari server. Okay, 1 second. Service. Oh, okay. I need to set up before starting because the installation itself doesn't do all the configuration. What you have to do is you have to set up so that the initial database configuration and everything will do. So for that, Ambari server setup -s. So if you are not sure about the options you need to choose, or if you are okay with choosing everything default, I mean database configuration during the Ambari server setup, there are multiple things you need to do, like JDK option. Okay, which JDK you need. If you want to customize the JDK which is using, you can do that. Then a database, it's using database credential, everything you can customize. But if you are okay with the default one, quickly just use -s silent mode. I'm using this because it will do everything default. Okay, we have one warning: SE Linux is in the permissive, and because we have not restarted the servers after disabling SE Linux, I mean changing SE Linux to disable state. And here you can see this is setting up databases, creating the table, and all those things. And I use the default option by using Ambari server setup as. Now I can start the Ambari server start. Okay, this is started. Then we can start agent also. Now we can log in here. I mean, just to go to 8080. Maybe it takes some time to start and up and running. So that's it. We have installed Ambari server and agent. Remaining things we can do with the graphical option. Okay, just typed admin. I think maybe that instance or something is bit slow here. I don't know, maybe this networking with AWS is a bit slow here. Actually, it should, I mean, we should be able to log in. Yeah, right. And here you can see an option like the launch install wizard, so that you can use for installing an HTTP cluster. And the cluster name, what name you want to give. So HDP training or whatever it may be. Okay, I cannot see a next button here. Just decrease the font size. You can see it's here. I don't know why this is very slow. So normally it happens, they may have some maintenance or anything with the network. I need to check. Normally it will be very quick. Also, I don't know, maybe my internet side any issue or anything, but looks like very slow today. I think you know this how to continue the installation, right? Uh, it's just like a graphical installation where you need to select what are the packages you need to install, so what are the other options you need, etc. I think some issue. Okay, what we will do, so we will wind up for now, and tomorrow we will start from here. And also I will explain in detail, okay, all these things installation, but just this is just a uh, quick demo so that you can also start doing things. So I'll explain in detail when we do the next class, that we will do multi-node installation and all. Okay, I think this will take a lot of time because it has some, looks like some network issue. Normally it should we should be able to finish within 5-10 minutes maximum, but this time this is not responding.
Yeah,
So any questions you have? Any doubt? Okay, one thing you just try to do this thing when you get some time, some simple installation, because practicing and hands-on is very important, so that then only you would be able to learn. And in case if you feel any challenges, you post that message in that group, or you can email. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
we'll continue tomorrow then.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good day. Bye.